Well, yesterday's the original recording for this video, I didn't the mic wasn't on properly, so it doesn't sound very good. So I'm gonna try to remember what it is that I said. Um, at the time, I was just starting on this second cat piece that I'm working on in this little pair, uh, and basically, man, I think what I remember saying was that I'm really excited about these cat paintings, just essentially because of how lighthearted they are of a subject matter at the moment. And I think that because of the situation that I'm in, and just kind of some of the stuff I'm going through personally, I feel like I feel like I need a break. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I need a conceptual reprieve. And I think making these kind of lighthearted cat paintings has been just so perfect. Um, I'm getting to kind of throw myself a little bit more into the technical aspect, getting to figure out new technical problems, and revisit some old ones, some established problems, let's say, that I've already solved, and getting to maybe solve them in slightly new ways that are novel or innovative, at least to me, and for my practice, not necessarily that it's, earth-shattering for anybody else. But the realm of personal discovery is always very exciting to me, and always very much sufficient thrust for a painting or a series or anything like that. So that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on with these, is just losing myself sort of like in the a little bit more in the technical aspect, and just allowing myself to have fun with that. What else was I saying yesterday? Everything else is going good, man. I think I was doing probably a little bit more bitching in the video yesterday, so I'm gonna just keep some of that out and keep it nice and positive for today because I'm feeling really good. And maybe it's good that I didn't that the other actually the other one wasn't negative at all. It wasn't negative for shit. But I just always kind of look at myself with an overly critical eye, and I'm like, any like sign that I have a grievance with anything, even if it's rightfully so, to me just is like, oh, you're just bitching. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here and let's just fucking get into it. Okay, the food situation got resolved. I'm I'm fed up, but it took me a little bit longer than I had anticipated, and it's nighttime now. It's dark. Uh, I don't know, man. I think a part of me is still like getting used to these different changes. Duh. It's um, Yeah, so I'm just trying to be kind to myself, man. At least right now, I can go back to being shitty to myself soon enough. Soon enough. But okay, so for this evening, what I've got in mind is just to get this second little piece started here. I mounted two slots or two canvases to the wall, and the first day is always the same on a painting. It's like getting the drawing up and putting down the first layer. And for this one, it's going to be no different, so I'm just going to get into it now. Okay, just working on some of the finishing touches on this reference. And taking a look at the photo, I can tell that this is going to be a lot about exposure. So we're going to be playing, like, there's going to be a lot of shit going on with the exposure, right? That's kind of like the main character in this painting, or like the main challenge is going to be, like, in order to pull this off effectively, the different relationships of the values have to kind of correspond in a very specific way. The main thing that we have going on here is like a backlit screen, obviously, is a computer screen. And that is going to create, like, I guess sort of like a silhouette effect for the main cat figure that's here in the front, in the foreground. And there's going to just be some interesting, like, fucking action, man, relationships. There's going to be some interesting stuff happening within the values of just him, because well, because that's just the way God made the fucking image, bro. He made it difficult, and he put me here to figure it out. So in figuring it out, yeah, there's going to be we have to figure out No. God damn it. See, man, this is why this YouTube shit is so hard, bro. Like, you have to really be like, if you don't want to be fucking editing constantly, like you have to be really on point with what you're saying. And so I have to like think through my position and what I'm trying to say. I'm learning, man. I'm learning. Bear with me, dudes. Um, so anyway, this is going to be a lot about values and exposure and relationships of values. I've gotten really, I think, pretty good at painting these sort of like screens and stuff. But each time I do it again, there's like a new added little challenge that comes with it. And for me, it's the challenge is going to be, just making sure that the screen and the figure look like distinctly separate entities. Like the screen looks like it's a thing on a screen, and then the cat looks like it's a figure being affected by the lighting conditions on screen. That's going to be the main thing that I have to focus on, because otherwise it's either going to look like the screen just, if the screen itself, the effect isn't correct, the whole thing looks like shit. And that's just basically the long and short of it, if you will. But I think I think it's gonna come out pretty good, man. Honestly, I've already got a name in mind for it, a title. I'm gonna call it Purrvert. We're kind of going with like these like purr puns with these pieces, right? Practice makes perfect. The other one was called protection. This one's gonna be called Purrvert because he's licking a cat on screen or whatever. So yeah, man, I'm just having fun with these kind of little puns, dude. And that to me is sufficient enough thrust for, a painting, even a series of paintings. What I like to do also, if I'm projecting an image like this, if there's any straight edges, instead of just like trying to trace straight edges, what I'll do is I'll kind of mark a little of where the edge of where one side of it starts and then the other side finishes. And then after I'm done kind of projecting all of the organic shapes, I'll come back in with the ruler and connect all those lines. So here I'm just drawing in the edges of the screen and all that stuff, edges of different objects and whatnot. But it's a lot easier to do this part as opposed to just trying to freehand a perfectly straight line. And then after this, of course, we will be painting in the first layer of color, the first, which is basically just some washes. And the thing with these is, the thing with this layer, the first layer, is I used to think that it was kind of room to be more haphazard because you're going to be building on top of it anyway. But what I've actually realized is with the first layer of color, you actually want to be like more accurate than normal, or you actually want to just be extremely accurate because you're going to build on that. That's like literally the foundation of your entire painting. And so I've started some kind of thinking that I could be a little more haphazard with the first layer, and then I end up having to make a lot of corrections down the road. So with this one, I'm going to try to just be more accurate the first go, and I'm going to see where that takes me. Ooh. Nice light. Solid day of painting. Hell fucking yes. Was very, very happy and pleased with the fact that I was able to get pretty much everything that I aimed to get on the painting. I don't know what that is, man. I gotta get that checked out at some point. It's been doing that for years, though. I just never gotten it checked out. Yeah, man, I was really happy with the values in the first go. One of the reasons that I think it's a good idea to try to get colors and values as near as perfect as you can on the first round if you're going to build layers is because then you have the option of leaving some of those looser kind of like strokes behind as you build up the more refined layers. Whereas if you start with some kind of like, if you're not as accurate with your color mixing from the get-go, you kind of have to paint over it to correct your mistake, and so the whole painting ends up just, you know, it has the same finish, right? So like the same like amount of opacity. You don't really see any transparencies or like, you know, any of like the kind of early loose strokes that you see in the beginning of the painting. And for me, I mean, that's totally fine. But it's nice to have some variety, and I think it's one of those little ways that you can kind of demonstrate, you know, some of your mastery over the medium is kind of being accurate while you're being loose at the same time. So that's just something that I try to keep in mind. What else? Tomorrow I'll be back at it. Same, working on the same piece, but I'm going to be building up layers now. I think the way I'm going to approach this one is kind of the way I do pretty much all of them, but now keeping in mind that I want to be conscious about kind of leaving some looser layers behind as I build up. I think I'm going to start kind of in the central part of the image, or kind of at the focal point, and then start building up there and then work outward, but sort of like work radially, and then with each pass kind of narrow the radius, narrow like the diameter that I'm working in, so that I kind of bring the eye in with, you know, the refinement of the work, or the brushwork and stuff. And so like as there's like a higher finish, I guess maybe it just guides you towards the right place or something like that. And I guess that's the idea for most paintings anyway, but this is maybe just the first time that I've kind of verbalized it in that way. Oh, another cool thing, right before I got in the car, I saw that somebody bought a print off the shop, and thought it'd be a good idea to remind you guys, or to let you know for the first time, that I have a shop. In fact, I have a shop. You know, let me tell you about it. Don't just rush off and start buying stuff all of a sudden. You know, give me a second. Please, just wait. Don't just run off, man. Let me tell you what's on there. I make a lot of like prints, man, and I do something that's called like hand embellished prints, right? And basically, like, it's just a print that you fuck with it like by hand, right? Like you add some embellishments by hand, as the name suggests. But what I've tried to do with each, you know, print is kind of think outside of the box as much as possible, you know. So some of them, what I'll do is like, I'll take the photo of the painting that I'm gonna use, and I'll put it in Photoshop, and then I'll manually like remove bits of the painting, so that I have to go back in and paint them in manually. And so it just, you know, but the method of actually doing that is what's like kind of like subject to kind of like change and stuff like that, and that's kind of where I'm finding more areas to experiment. So for instance, some of them I'll like airbrush a piece back in, or with some of them I'm using urethane resin to kind of build up layers, which is really cool. So yeah, man, the shop is going to be in the description, so if you want to, you know, check it out, and I'd really appreciate it. What else? I think that's it, dude. I think that's it. We're on our way to the fucking gym now. And we're gonna just, we're continuing, man. It's, I'm definitely not gonna start doing gear, and I promise. But man, I'm really enjoying it though. Not just like on some real shit. I'm definitely not gonna do gear. I'd never do it. But I'm really enjoying this like little routine. Whoa. Oh, that was my studio thing. I'm really enjoying this routine, man. It's like these late nights. I feel like I'm thriving. I feel like I'm thriving at night, and it feels good. I feel kind of like you know, like the Lost Boys, like the movie The Lost Boys. It's a great movie, one of my favorites. But I feel like I'm in that movie sometimes now, and it feels really cool. So fuck yeah.